ecstasy. No one else, it seems, could make me care. What is left is just a memory that's so empty and so unfair. Melody, I'll write another melody, and this time from the start you'll see I'll write it from the heart, and words that say come to me, stay with me. Won't you stay with me? No one else could fill my life with ecstasy. No one else, it seems, could make me care. What is left is just a memory that's so empty and so unfair. Melody, I'll write another melody, and this time from the start you'll see I'll write it from the heart, and words that say come to me, words that say come to me, stay with me. Won't you stay with me? Stay with me.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
I don't know if I'm at a club or where is I?
We're in the summer heat of South Florida.
It's Wednesday.
It's
New
Wednesday. Oh, yes.
We didn't do New York.
No, we didn't do New York.
We didn't do New York.
Turn on New York. Turn on the bus. All right, they're doing it now. Say good morning.
Wow. We have
hello.
major problem. Hey, good morning.
Hello, New York, New Jersey, WGHT 98.3, 1500. Welcome to
Guys, turn off the
Cafe
music.
Show.
Thank you.
How you doing? Happy Wednesday to you.
Not good.
And today is National S'mores Day. Good morning, New York. Good afternoon, New York, New Jersey, South Florida, and everyone listening
Wow,
abroad.
I can't believe.
It is National S'mores Day, August 10th, doing what we do in the summer. I just blame it on the summer heat and the summer fun. That's all I can tell you.
New York City, it's about 7,000 degrees down here, and my brain
brain
got fried.
melted?
I can't believe that nobody in here forgot that we were on New York time today. New York, New Jersey.
Is New York time like
WGH.
Florida time?
No, it's not. They're blowing up my phone. Ugh.
WGHT.
WGHT. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have the voice. We got to give it to
Who did that voice, by the way?
the new guy.
Did he do it? Mayor did it? They
Yeah.
took you out of the cafe
They
the
kicked
train?
me out. They say, your voice ain't good enough.
No more Soul Train for you?
No,
did
Soul
it?
Train. I'm the white Cornelius. And you see, you could tell who remembers that show.
You
Why?
can't say that live, apparently. Your
Why I can't say
disclaimer's
that?
going to go back up.
Why?
I don't, and apparently,
He was my idol.
I do not know why.
And we have, on Thursday nights, we play, I can't say Soul Train because it's theirs, but we
Music
play a
Thursdays.
musical. What is it called? Cafe Night Train?
Brooklyn Night Train.
Boy, tell me that that's original.
Cafe Night Train?
Cafe Night Train.
I think it was Cafe Night Train.
Is that what it's called? Cafe Night Train? We couldn't come up with something different.
That's what you wanted.
That's what I
Listen,
want.
how many branding things can you do? Freddie said tomorrow apparently a 70-day right here at the cafe. And you are not
I did not
exempt.
say that. All I said was, wouldn't it be nice to have somebody, to have a throwback where, you know, the 70s and the hippies and all that during our musical piece? Because if you watch American Bandstand, you watch Soul Train, in the day there were bell bottoms and marshmallow shoes and, you know, handkerchiefs hanging down and women were doing all this stuff. So I said, why it would be nice to do that. So everybody in here says, Freddie says we have to come in like a hippie tomorrow. So they're all coming like hippies tomorrow.
They're very excited. Do you want to come back? 70s? You guys remember the 70s?
I won't shower. I'll be like a
You won't shower.
I remember that too. He must have gotten the Baylor.
We were talking about Texas because we were talking weddings today. It's summer wedding season. Did you get married in the summer, winter, spring, or fall? Don't ask me which time.
You think I remember that?
Do you remember your anniversaries?
No. No, I don't remember
Was
any
it
of that.
cold out or was
I'm
it
thinking.
hot out?
I'm thinking. Let me see. The first one was warm, and the second one, no, it had to be in the summer, fall, in the summer or springtime.
So we've got Marcy and Keith joining us, talking weddings, wedding planning, event planning, podcasting, all about love and all of those mushy gushy feelings. You know, Freddie love,
Freddie Love.
like
And
like
money.
Kenny says.
Well, I want to get into this whole thing because I want to find out. I mean, we've been talking about all sorts of bachelorette parties.
We were talking about that today. Yep.
On the morning show, we were talking about what happens in the limo. You know that limo door that goes up, that
Yes.
window?
Yeah.
You would think that you could have some private conversations. No, the driver hears everything.
Oh, yeah. There's a microphone in the back.
And he
You gotta
says,
be
I
close to
can
the
hear
mic.
you. He says,
Oh,
I
do
can
I need
hear
to do
you."
this?
And then the women, they have their last bash.
Did you say there's a microphone in the back?
Yeah, I mean, any of those limos, there's a microphone in the back because
hear
they have to be able to hear somebody make a call,
Make a
like
left.
take a right, take
Make
a
a right,
left,
yeah.
or
Wow,
stop here,
so
kick
if they
this
don't
lady
turn
out.
that mic off,
yeah.
it's a hot mic.
Yeah, it's constant.
So for all of you that had that limo ride of your life and you thought you were alone,
Can you
Nope,
imagine
you're not
a limo
alone.
driver writing the book?
They're with you.
They're with you every single time.
and they're there and they're cheering you on. Yeah, go. Yeah. The other thing is what happens at the bachelorette parties is worse than anything a guy can do. A guy goes to a club. You know what's gonna happen. You got to take out $500 for her to wave at you. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen.
That's cheap. I think that's the 80s.
That's
calling.
right.
Yeah.
You're right. Maybe $1,000 because of inflation. But a woman, you can have 100 guys do it for free. Now they all want to get paid, of course.
Right.
But there's a lot of stuff going on. So the question we asked this morning is: the in-laws, do they let the woman, the girl that's getting married, let all of that happen? Do you let that happen?
Do you let them have their last fling? Do the moms or mother-in-laws let the daughter or the bride have their last fling before the wedding? Or do they go, no, don't do it?
I think they try not to pay attention to it, to be honest. And many times, I've had a couple of mothers that said, "Come, I want to go with you," because they're newly divorced. But you know, I mean, that's the whole new world.
That's a great point. I forgot that point.
I mean, it is. Yeah, I mean, it's just gotten to a point that you know, all the old rules are out the window. And I
Really?
think that's one of the
Everything's a
things
blur.
that we were going to talk about. Is that one of the trends is that a lot of the things that we're used to are no longer being done. Like the idea of walking down the aisle has changed dramatically. Now people want to come in from opposite sides at the same time. They want their aisle curved. Yeah, I mean it's.
And we're going to talk about this. We've got
Yeah.
Keith Willard, Marcy Gutenberg, event planning, invitations, and Affair to Remember, all about weddings. And you would think weddings would be down based on new generations. You would think that people may be in love, but they're not doing that nuptial. But you tell me, numbers are through the roof.
Through the roof.
No summer lull, no nothing lull.
No
This has
COVID
been the busiest year, I think they say, since 1984
to get married.
to get married.
To get married, yes. You know, after COVID, it was this huge rush. And one of the major issues that people were having is that many of the venues were booked up, and not just 6 months, a year out, but 2 years out. And so many times they were finding that summer were the only dates still available. And so they said, oh, we're going to opt for the summer because we don't want to wait. We don't want something like COVID to happen again. So let's act now versus waiting until a spring or a fall date.
Let's act now
And
to
they're
show
doing
our
it
love.
up too. I mean,
And they're doing it up.
They're not doing things scaled back. They are going all out.
Yeah, they want the big party. They want it
gotta
all
ask, I
and
gotta
bring
ask.
everybody.
Wow.
What is this thing where everybody's in Florida and they go to another part of the world to get married?
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell is that? What is
Well,
that?
Actually, it's reverse. I mean,
come in
what
here.
what we're seeing is a lot of the times the business was like my personal business used to be 20% destination, 80% local, and that's reversed. It's 80% destination and 20% local because Florida stayed open, and that's the thing is that Florida stayed open through all of this except for about 4 months.
Right.
And so we have a lot of people from California, a lot of people from Vermont, a lot of people from these states that would stayed shut down.
So you're having destinations come into
Here.
Florida.
Oh, all
into
over the
Florida.
place.
But when you have people who are here
going to
and they
Dripping
decide they're
Springs,
going to go
Texas.
to Texas where it hasn't rained
Yeah.
and it's like giant tumbleweeds.
Maybe the vineyards don't need water.
Oh.
Oh, for no vineyard needs a water.
No. And of course electricity. Trying to good luck. Let's hope the electricity stays on because they're at their max at the moment. I heard.
Electricity. Let's hope that there's still a place
We got
there.
8 months to go.
Have you seen
Oh,
pictures?
you'll be fine.
It's not until March. We got
So-
some time. I
so-
still need a dress.
And look at this. A dress. I mean, the signs are there. So this destination stuff, everybody going all over the place. They'll do it in Yosemite Park, even though there's fires all around them. They don't
Oh,
care.
100%. They'll call it a haze machine. The smoke is a haze machine. Makes the lights look better.
What is the average cost of a wedding these days?
It depends on the number of guests, but typically I'm seeing weddings running anywhere from 70 to 130,000 for about 100 guests. You know, on average in South Florida, you can, if you're going to one of the major hotels, you know, let's say a Hyatt or a Marriott of some sort, you're probably looking at $500 or $600 per person. If you go to a Ritz-Carlton or a Conrad or a Four Seasons, that number can be upwards of $1,000 per person. You know, so it's just
$1,000 per person.
a person.
And that's
yeah.
food and liquor.
That's the whole. I'm giving you a whole wedding. I'm
Okay.
giving you a whole wedding. Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, I always break it down into a per person cost.
Okay.
So that way people can understand it. Because many times when you're working on budgets, somebody's never done a wedding before. So how do they know how much it's going to cost? And so if you break it down to a per person cost, they go, okay, I get that. I understand that.
That makes a lot of sense because you think about, I was telling you, my son's getting married in
Yeah.
March, and the food costs in Florida were apparently crazy expensive. So
Yep.
they went destination wedding. But now we have to do transportation from the hotel. And because so many transportation companies went out during COVID, and where it is in a vineyard, you can't have heavy buses because
Right.
it's not good for the land and the bridges won't carry it. We now need 2 transportation companies to get to 180 people from their hotel to the venue. So I'm not so sure if the cost that they just shifted from the food is not now going to the bus service.
It probably will. Many times you find that, you know, budgets will change. I mean, we talked about this before going live, is that, you know, if you have a house, buy a house in Texas, you'll be, you know, a 6-bedroom house on an acre of land will be $250,000. You move to Florida, it's a closet.
Yep.
You know, so
Or
weddings
$2.5
are
million.
Yeah.
I gotta
That's
tell
true.
you, when I got married my second time, I got stuck in an elevator because I decided to watch the Mets and they were making the playoffs. And the whole crew was watching the Mets. So we get in this elevator and we get stuck. So I tell them, you know, got to call the fire department. I had suitcases with me. I had guys on my shoulder for an hour. I was late to my own wedding. I should have known right there. The guy was saying, "Thou shalt not get married." So your people are taking a plane. Now you know the circumstances with planes. I hope they got pilots, because I would hate it if people miss out on the wedding.
I'm hoping they got pilots too. If not, we're going to have Ashley's dad, who's a pilot, fly everyone from here to there. I
Does
don't
he
know.
have a plane?
Yes.
Okay, so we can all jump on his plane.
It's like, does
I
he
love
have a
this
Going
lady.
plane?
back and forth.
I'm all
Carlos,
in.
we're hiring you to fly everyone back and
I'm
forth.
gonna go rent a
Yes.
tux. I'm all in now. If he has a plane and I
Yes.
get on that plane, I'm done. I don't like to fly and then you gotta wait at an airport and they says, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Santori, we have to cancel your flight."
Well, I'm hoping by March we get this taken care of. But I want to ask about trends. There's a fluid aisle now. It's not just walking down the aisle.
Yeah, so many times that straight aisle that we're all used to with the white carpet going down the middle, now people want it natural stone. I've seen hot pink, blue, red recently. Mirrored is a big
Mirrored.
one. People
Mirror
love a
on the
mirrored
floor?
walkway. Oh, yeah.
Hope you're wearing something.
Very
into
much
that
so.
dress.
I know mirror on the ceiling. Never see mirror on the floor.
Right, but even things like first dances are not for sure anymore. Because couples will say, "Oh, we don't like being in the center of attention," or "I'm marrying somebody that is very shy, and we don't want to do the first
That's a
dance."
thing.
Yeah,
I
and
was
then
shy and the lady says, "Shut up and do what I tell you."
Yeah, I kind of think, wow, everyone's
even
changing.
wedding cakes are becoming something that's not a for sure. I mean, I have a wedding that's coming up in 4 months that we're doing cake pops instead of the wedding cake because it was
You
amazing.
doing what?
wedding pop.
Wedding cake pops.
What the
Yeah,
hell is that?
You know the little lollipop cake.
with a
balls?
little cake on top.
Can I get apple pie? I
They
mean,
were in about 15 years ago, and now they're making a major resurgence.
Yeah, major.
it's funny, in the day, they used to have cakes that were so tall you couldn't see the lady on the other side, and they used to play the bride, feeds the groom, all that crap.
Yeah.
I did that a few times.
Remember that bat mitzvah we went to?
No. Oh, yes. Oh, that was a production.
That cake was
That was
the
from all over
size
the
of this
country.
set,
Yeah, it was huge. It took 6 men to bring it in.
right? That cake was enormous.
You
And there
gotta
were no
love a
faux
bar
layers.
mitzvah where the adults had a better time than the kids.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
Or they'll have cakes dropping down from the ceiling.
Oh yeah, that's also cakes that are suspended, dropping down out of the
Can you
ceiling.
imagine what
Or coming
happened?
up
I don't know,
from
I
the
got covered
floor.
by chocolate icing for the wedding.
Yeah. But everybody
be
wants
like
to
the
do
movie.
something different, and I think that's the big thing. Is
That's
that they
what they're looking to do.
they want that personality to come out, like what makes them unique, and they want that to start to become part of the wedding. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, though. Please leave your pets out of this. If I see another poor dog have to go down an aisle, I will. I'm
No,
going to
it's
call the
just-
Humane Society and
it's
have that thing
messy.
rescued.
Very messy.
I never really understood that, but that's
People
just
want
my
to be
thing.
on a farm
Right.
with the helicopters, not the helicopter. What's that called? The
A crop duster.
no, not the
Crop duster.
What?
Going back to Baylor.
The
What?
thing. What is that called? A drone. With
Oh,
the
yeah.
drone. So
Yes.
now all of a sudden they want to be on this farm, and these are friends of mine, and they
Yeah.
want drones all over the place. I said, you want to get married where they milk cows? It makes no sense. to me.
Vineyards are converting barns now to great event spaces.
Yeah.
But this is
Everyone
what they're
wants to
doing. They're
get married.
converting them to beautiful places. Gio got married outside.
But
I'll
you
never
know,
forget that.
I mean, so here you have all of these amazing things happening, and then, but of course, the invitation piece of it that people get right at the beginning is also changing dramatically.
Dramatically.
Yeah, tell me about it.
It is out of the box. Everybody wants to be unique and different from one another. There are so many trends. I have some of them actually right here behind us.
And
some
actually, one of
things-
them's from one of my weddings.
Yeah, actually, yes,
This right here.
This one right here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just, it's all about mixing textures, mixing patterns. The Monstera leaf is very hot right now.
Huge. Huge.
So that's a big trend.
That big
Monstera leaf's a
Monstera
big,
leaf?
big.
It's very
leaf.
tropical.
Very tropical.
For
Yeah.
Florida.
For Florida.
Very Florida.
There's lucite or acrylic invitations. Those are really big.
Oh my goodness! We have a client that wanted these in a mirror because they wanted
Yes.
people to see themselves in
A
their wedding.
mirror.
On a
Yes,
mirror.
Plastic mirror.
the idea behind it is I want to see I want my guests to see themselves
themselves.
in my wedding.
I would love to sit
Yeah.
down and talk to these people.
And I say yes. I say okay.
And the
absolutely.
pricing of some of these invitations, they
They
run the gamut, it
they
looks
can
like.
range a wide range. I mean, you're talking anywhere from just the invitation, anywhere from like $4 and upwards of about, $50,
How much was
depending
this one?
on
I don't even remember. How much was this one? Like 55?
This one was around the $50 mark.
Yeah. And I mean,
For
and
invitation.
for
an
the
invitation.
invitation.
So it's really expensive on getting married. I guess it's not because
Yeah.
you're only supposed to do this once.
Yes.
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah,
Yes.
once.
We're
Once,
not going to be
twice,
talking
3
about
times.
practice weddings.
We talk
now.
about once.
Look how beautiful they are. Well, then there's the theory of let's do an Evite because people are going to open it and throw it away. But
Right.
it looks like the theories I hear are not holding up with what you guys are doing.
No, in fact, I mean,
Depends.
people don't realize you throw away more than just the invitation if you're not going to keep it. Your flowers are thrown away. Some of your food is thrown away. I mean, these are things that set the tone for the first thing that this is the first tangible item the guest receives before the event date.
Right.
So you want it to reflect what is expected. Maybe you want to hide some of the, some of the details for down the road, but you want it really to reflect the couple. I mean, that's ultimately is the goal is how is it going to reflect the couple and their special day.
And there's a whole nother side of green cards too, because more and more couples are wanting to be green, quote unquote, because like she said,
Yes.
some of the food gets thrown away, some of the centerpieces get thrown away. So like Feeding South Florida has an app that you can actually use at the end of and they'll at the end of the event, and they'll come and
They'll
pick
come
up the
out.
food
Wow.
that's left over.
That's amazing.
That is
and
cool.
feed people that truly need it. Same thing
Yes.
for the centerpieces. There's another organization that comes and takes the flowers and then takes them to the hospitals and to retirement homes so that they get a second life. And I mean, and these things really truly add to the spirit of it. It's not really going to change the guest experience,
right?
But it is always nice to know that it's going to get some more use and that it's going to help the community at large.
Absolutely, because why? If you're going to spend the money and do it because you want to do it and have this amazing nuptial,
Yeah.
and that's going to go in the garbage,
Right.
Yeah.
why not send it to people that could actually put a smile on their face or eat food that they would not normally have to eat? What a great idea.
Well, you know who has the best flowers in South Florida? All the servers. Because servers, man, I mean, at the end
They
of the
clean
night,
up.
They
they're
take 'em
taking those
home.
flowers home. I guarantee it. So
That's the other thing. It's
yeah.
interesting how people fight about who's taking the centerpiece. You ever seen the strategy on this
Oh
thing?
gosh, it's good.
Okay,
Yeah.
you block him and I grab. And
Oh, you're not kidding.
I've
oh,
seen
yes.
people fight over the centerpiece.
Oh,
But think if that's a
100%.
local wedding, right? You're going home. A destination wedding.
Yeah.
You're going where? You're getting on an airplane. So all of those centerpieces aren't going home with you.
No, they want to give them away to local people.
Yeah, we actually had a wedding where they actually tried to steal everything. They had, like the votive candles, the
Anything that isn't nailed down.
We were because it was beautiful rose gold, so it was these really gorgeous little antique pieces all over the table to make because they wanted to do something a little bit more than just florals. So we had a lot of like interesting, unique items on the table to decorate it, and they kept disappearing throughout the night. So I almost felt like we had to frisk everybody as they
Yeah.
were leaving. But
And I think another trend that is also, I wouldn't say a trend, but another conscious effort is that people are being more sustainable in some ways. So
Nice way to put it,
We
yeah.
have options for those kinds of things. I mean, I even have invitations that you can plant in the ground and then they become flowers
these
afterwards.
are cool.
Oh, that's very
yeah,
cool.
So it looks just like
Yes.
this, but you plant it in the ground and flowers sprout.
I love that idea.
Yeah, it's
That,
cool.
that is smart. Are they still doing the butterfly release and things of that nature?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
still do-
and actually that's even taken a different course because now what they're doing is using butterflies that they want to repopulate different areas of the country because obviously we've all heard that populations of all basically nature things are declining, and so if you're in South Florida, they'll make sure that they're going to bring that particular butterfly that needs to be repopulated down here as part of your ceremony. So it's doing two beautiful things. You
Can't
get to
believe
have it
the
released,
details.
and it's also repopulating what a badly needed area.
I've been to a few of those. I gotta tell you, this is a production.
Oh, it is.
A
100%.
wedding is a production.
Yes.
From soup to nuts.
All of it.
And the wedding dresses, have they changed? It isn't pure white anymore. Now they do colors and everything. else?
Blue, light blue is
Yeah.
a big trend right now.
Blush.
Bridgerton theme.
Bridgerton has
Is-
killed us all.
Wow.
Yes,
really?
a huge theme right now. I mean, that also in flowers that's come out a lot.
Yeah.
But I think the wedding dress is really over the
They've
top with
changed.
that theme.
Well, and I think people forget that the only reason that we even have white wedding dresses is because of Queen Elizabeth. It started as a fashion trend. It has no history in like the world of weddings. It started out as a fashion trend and took off.
Really?
And so
I thought
you
the
know,
white was supposed to symbolize your purity and everything on your wedding
that was
night.
it was just
That
because she
was
loved
the-
white.
that was
wanted
just made
white.
up.
That was
Yeah.
the priest that said
That's
that.
just a
Or
myth.
rabbi, you know.
It is.
That's
It's
just a
just
wedding
myth.
myth.
Like-
Wow.
Well,
That
you
was
know
in
why?
Sweden.
I mean, all of some of these things do not always have an amazing background. Like, you know, understand why brides and bridesmaids have bouquets, because in the olden days, dental health wasn't what it usually should be,
They hide the face.
and the bouquet made a
smell.
fragrance.
And the smell, right? And not
smell.
always cleanliness.
And they
things
weren't
that-
always
Because you
super
go
clean.
like this, and you wanted to see that fight behind.
It's the fragrant bouquet,
But-
because not everyone's showering like they should be showering.
It's exactly. I
right?
mean, if you look up some of these what do we call them? Typical wedding things.
Oh, yes.
On Google and find out where the origins are from, you're going to get shocked. It's a
I mean,
it's a little surprising.
even the etiquette is changing.
Oh, God, yeah.
We just had on Lizzie Post on our show.
Yeah.
And she is the great granddaughter of
Emily Post.
Post, and she was telling us that we used to do master for a child that was under the age of 13 for a boy on an invitation, and now they're changing it to the young mister.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, because even wording needs to become more PC, more of our day to day, and reflect our values
Right.
as a society.
Right, like
So-
your
and they're
bedroom
aging it
now
up.
at your home is not called the master bedroom now. It's called the primary bedroom.
Primary bedroom.
Primary
right.
bedroom.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't care what you call it. Just get out of my way.
All right, let's take
You're
a
like, what are you
break.
doing in my
You
bedroom?
don't want to take a
Bed.
break? You want to keep
I
going?
want to keep going because we started late. But
Okay.
I got a question.
Mm.
This to me is a trip. I gotta tell you.
I love the details. This is unbelievable.
Oh, and this is just scratching the surface. This is
People that get married, a
Yeah.
couple and a spouse. Let's say it's a man and woman.
right.
Does the mother-in-law take over the wedding?
Which mother-in-law?
I'm gonna let them answer.
Oh my goodness. Well, so it's actually come up in multiple conversations recently as a please do not let one relative or another. It doesn't always have to be just a mother-in-law. Sometimes it's an older sister or an aunt. Please do not let so-and-so push their wants into my wedding.
Right.
You know.
So
and-
do you guys run interference?
Yeah, of course.
You
Absolutely.
do?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, where were you when I got married?
Yeah, no, I mean, when you're talking about full service, it really is full service. There are times that I have talked brides off of bridges, especially when COVID first hit. I mean, I was literally on the phone probably for 12 hours a day, calming people down. That was a big part of my job, calming them down. That their wedding was going to happen. We just needed to figure out how it was going to happen, and we needed a little time to do that.
How
Little
did you get-
psychology.
How did you get into the wedding business? Because you've got such an amazing personality as a wedding planner, and you're so amazing, detail-oriented. You guys work incredibly well together.
Yeah. Well, and actually, we get said that a lot. She's the etiquette person because I don't always speak right, just like then. So she makes sure that the P's and Q's are followed and the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. And I'm more like broad strokes, bright colors. Let's make it a production.
Did you always know you wanted to be an event planner, wedding planner?
No, I started actually as an executive director of a small not-for-profit in Dallas.
That's why
And-
you're so good at it.
Yeah, and so that's what, stretch that dollar. You had to figure out how to raise money, and then you used every penny out of that dollar. And I've taken that knowledge and used it since.
I told them next time they come, bring the set designs, and we'll turn this into a wedding venue or a set. They have a podcast
We'll get
also they do.
Breeze and her boyfriend to get married. No, but the interesting thing is that you're dealing with so many personalities from soup to nuts.
Yeah.
And it changes because as time gets closer and people get more nervous,
Yeah.
Bridezilla, like the show, things begin to happen. And then men in the situation begin to tend to fall back more because you get a little afraid. You get a little afraid of what's going on. So that's why I asked you that question, because it's usually the mother
Yeah.
of the bride. No offense to anybody, because I married the mother of the bride more than I married the daughter of the bride.
How was
Because
that?
she
You
she
liked her.
brought in a band called Azuka, a Latin band. I didn't want no freaking band,
That's
and I had
funny.
to pay for it.
My mother brought in La Mystique dancers, and they came in and sequin,
Oh, yeah.
tail. You
I'd
know
rather
La
have
Mystique?
that.
Remember yes.
One was
Right.
Michael Jackson. There were like 3 events, and they had these big heads on them. One came,
Oh my.
sequin tucks and tails. They came in and rented dancers.
But how do you say to whoever the powers may be, I guess they go to you and say,
Yeah.
listen, I don't want that. Guys really shrink because there's so much going on. They're
Right.
afraid to say anything
Well,
that will upset the apple
and that's the
cart.
thing, is as event planners, we really have to pay attention to who's not talking, and many times.
That's it, right there.
Right there.
That's the key is figuring out who is the planner, who is the one sitting back, and then you want to make sure that you're pulling out what the person who isn't speaking, what are they really thinking? Because ultimately, they want to make sure that you're capturing the couple,
Yeah.
not just one.
And
You
a
know.
big piece is a lot of times stress is caused by the time it takes to answer a question. It's not the question itself that stresses people out. It's the time waiting for that answer. It could be the easiest question. It could be even a yes or no question. But if you wait a week or 2 weeks or even 3 weeks for a yes or no, all of a sudden this tiny thing becomes huge. And so getting answers quickly and communicating is a huge part of planning. Communication is
Communication
For us on
is
the outside,
essential.
looking
Everything.
in, you think it's some of the details are it's silly. Why fight over it until you're in that event, and all
Yeah.
of those details are really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely, because they build on top of each other.
And
you
then
know?
there's the whole midnight snack, right? You finish dinner at 10:30, but yeah, you need that midnight snack as you're leaving the event.
Yeah,
Right.
so that's a big one. I
That's
mean,
a
I
big- that's a
actually was
thing.
in a parking lot stuffing Krispy Kremes into individual packets.
I went to
I won't
White
be doing that
Castles.
again. But, huh?
I went to White Castles.
Oh, yeah, right? Well,
I went to the hotel.
No,
this is when I got
they
married.
serve a midnight snack after the wedding.
at-
yeah,
wedding.
after the wedding.
So there's 2 meals.
Some even bring food trucks.
When,
I
when,
mean,
when did
Food
this
trucks,
occur?
yeah.
I didn't
But
have
also,
no
if you have your wedding at a hotel, though, I will say this: please do not bring
Oh, no.
Chick-fil-A or something into the hotel, because the hotel will not allow
They
you to
won't
do
allow
Wait
that.
a minute, they
Yeah.
serve two meals?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not 2 meals. They serve the entree and then they have a
Cake and
light
dessert.
bite ending.
A light bite.
Yeah.
Never happened in my book.
Really?
I went, when I got married my second time, I walked in,
Yeah.
and the guy had shrimp, lobster. He had a whole room of seafood. And the wedding before me, next door, they canceled. So he was stuck with like $10,000 of seafood. So he comes over to me, he says, yo, I heard that you're friends with so-and-so. I go, yeah. He says, he told me to tell you this is for you. And he
What?
walks us in. And me and Michelle walk in, we go, nobody wanted to leave that room. Forget about the wedding. Everybody said, forget the wedding. Let's just stay here. They had lobster, they had seafood.
That's
It was
amazing.
on, and I got it for nothing.
See,
Such
that's the
a
best
funny
gift.
story.
That's the best gift ever when you
My
get it
God,
for nothing.
I was flying high that day. Now I gotta ask, because I don't want to run out of time.
Yeah, yeah.
When people are going to go to a wedding, and they come, how do you go dressed? What's the proper way
That
of
is
going
so you.
dressed? Because guys show up. If you show up in shorts, can you ask them to
You're
leave?
going to ask Miss Etiquette.
Okay, so
Yes.
typically a attire will be noted on the invitation.
Okay.
It's usually placed on the front of the invitation on the main page in a corner copy. And you would typically see something like formal, semi-formal, cocktail, daytime. It depends. I mean, there was a period of time where people got really creative and did some very obscure kind of
Phrasing.
phrasing, but it's gone back to the traditional way only because people kept calling the couple or the parents and saying, how do I dress? Because they just didn't understand what it meant. So they've gone back to formal, semi-formal, cocktail attire or cocktail chic and so forth.
I remember Boca Chic.
Yeah. And,
Boca
right.
chic.
What
But
is
then you have to
Boca
put a,
Chic? Black
Right.
pants, a black T-shirt,
Right.
and boots.
What
no,
is
I'm
that?
like, what is Boca Chic, right?
Well, and then now when people put terms on their invitations on the website, then they have a larger description
Yes.
about what it actually means.
And that has helped a
And
lot.
that has helped. But I'll go back to your shorts conversation. I actually have told people, I'm sorry, you can't come in with shorts.
That
And-
happens.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
put on a tie,
Yeah.
and they think that makes it formal, and then they're in shorts and sneakers or
Well,
sandals.
that was a thing for a bit. You remember the
A beach
suit
wedding.
short?
Yes, they've got suit shorts. Tom Ford,
What a
I think, has a whole
Yes.
line of
what a
suit
stupid
shorts.
look.
I
I'm
think
gonna
the
say
athletes made it
stupid
really
look.
big.
Tom
Whatever.
shorts.
Suit
And
shorts.
what do you
but-
tell a guy? No, this is very interesting, but go get dressed.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
It's a suit, But the men are wearing shorts. I think that professional athletes made this a big trend. for
Well, you know,
whatever
they're paying
reason.
millions of
I don't wanna
dollars for
see
their
a guy's
wedding. They
legs,
can-
I got to tell you, in shorts at a formal event.
At a wedding.
Or in a tank top.
Can you imagine
No.
the best man shows up dressed like that? Forget about it.
How
No.
far out do you need to order? I guess I should start. How far out do you need to book a venue? Let's start from the beginning.
I'm booking venues out in 2024 at the moment. You know, like if you're going to like a Perez Art Museum, which is a really fabulous over-the-top venue down here, you're going to pay the price. I think they're at 20,000 rental just for the facility, but they're booked out into 2024. If you're going to like a Ritz-Carlton or one of the 4 or 5 star hotels, you're probably looking at a year. And then if you're looking at like a Marriott or one of the smaller local hotels, you're looking at 6 months. Yeah. But there are so many venues out there that I really hope that people expand their minds a little bit and understand that you don't have to go to a hotel. There are, I mean, especially South Florida, this spectacular stuff.
Please.
Amazing
down here.
things.
I was talking to someone and she said her son wanted to have a nice backyard wedding. 'cause
100%.
He loves their home. They have 200 people coming to their small backyard wedding, which she now needs to build a ballroom with a floor
Yeah.
and a tent for their small backyard wedding. And she said it's upwards of $50,000 to create this small outdoor wedding for her son. And she said next time we can do this at a hotel for less money, but it won't have the intimate feel. She says, what
Wow.
intimate feel
She needs
is
to
there at
sweat.
this point?
Just make her
So
run
wait,
around
she
the
said
building.
she
That's
could
what you
not
get.
afford the AC. She said, so we are not renting an AC.
No.
You can only hope that it's going to be cool, because she said the AC was another thousands and thousands of dollars.
Oh, easily. Well, just a subfloor is, you know, going to be cost 6,000 to 14,000 depending on the square footage.
So you're not really saving money if you're doing this
No.
at home, because you have to bring in everything.
Everything.
But
Unless
you do
you
have a
want it
lot
there.
more say in like the visuals, you know, because I did a wedding that was on a lake and it's a gorgeous
Beautiful.
view. We did a big clear tent and then did a very fairyland kind of vibe with a light, fairy lights hanging out of the trees. It was stunning. Now, did they save more money? No, but we had a lot more control of the visuals. A lot more control.
It's like the weddings with the cicadas. Did you see that on the
Yes.
news?
What
Wasn't
was
that
that?
unbelievable? Big plans finally after COVID
Yeah.
and cicadas. They had to
and they're
cancel the
loud.
wedding.
And they were loud.
Oh my
That
God.
was the hardest part.
But
They
you
were
guys
loud.
make it easy, right? So you have this idea, I want this great wedding, let's call Keith and let's call Marcy.
Yep.
And you take care of it all, soup
Yes.
to
All of
nuts, and just say, okay, here's my budget, this is what we want. You're
Right.
not calling a million venues or worrying about it. You guys actually do the legwork and the
Well,
phone work.
And I, you know, Marcy, I think budget is a big word.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to point out actually is, Keith was talking about doing a event at a home. I mean, one thing you have to remember is you do have to have a space, and you have to pull in some restrooms because you definitely want to make sure that you have the availability for your guests. So
And
Are
trash.
there nicer ones other than the porta potties?
Yes.
Oh my
Oh, much
God!
nicer.
Restrooms have come such a
long way.
long way from the porta potty world.
Yes.
You can
I
rent
mean,
restrooms?
Yeah.
We're talking about marble, air
With-
conditioning,
thought
running
it was just a
water,
hole
big
in the ground.
trailers,
big
so
trailers,
forth,
music
yes.
piped in.
Seriously?
Oh yeah.
They spent
Can you imagine a
$50,000
restroom rental?
They have showers too.
We
You can take
probably
showers.
need one
Well,
outside.
Actually, they do have showers. Some of them. I mean,
I've
Some of them
seen
do.
depending on
Yes.
on what you want. Like
And
if
what
you
do
have a
those
beach wedding.
cost?
It depends on the size, but like I just have one for $4,000, but it has 10 stalls.
That's not so bad considering the cost of everything else.
Yeah, but I mean, and the nice thing is they bring it in, they take it out. I love that.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't have to
That,
empty
wow.
it. That's all I care
that
about.
just
I
like
don't have to
floored
empty it.
me.
I don't know what she's thinking. I'm not using that. Okay, X-nay on the toilet.
I went up to one of the big events up in Wellington, and they have these restrooms. They have to, and they've got the big events and the
Right.
polo matches, and they're
Yes.
beautiful.
They're beautiful.
Yes.
They really are.
But you can do this for weddings
For
also.
weddings also.
Yeah, and
Yes.
but you have to know the wedding the lake wedding that I was talking about. Yeah, we had to get really creative with getting it into the backyard because we
The
had about
backyard.
an inch between two palm trees to get this trailer back. But the guy was brilliant.
That's
They think
hilarious.
of everything. All right, budget. What are we looking at as far as budget?
Well, I think
for-
I think the big thing is budget.
How
Don't
do
be
we
afraid
set a
to say
budget?
it. Don't be afraid to say
That-
your budget.
That's the key, because if you're not communicating, it's easier for us to help clients when they're being honest and they're being upfront.
100%.
When they're hiding things and so forth, all you're doing is creating a harder process for yourself.
100%.
So we're here to help them. We want to provide them with the best that we can provide based on their budget, based on their style, and so forth. I mean, and time-wise, I mean, right now especially when it comes to invitations, time-wise, you want to order your invitations 5 to 6 months out. Sometimes they can take upwards of a few months to produce if they're, the more intricate, the more customized they are. But, I mean, ultimately, you're talking a minimum of 4 weeks production time in most cases for a non-custom invitation. Unless you're getting it online, when you're getting it online, it's a different quality.
Different quality.
But, you do want to provide the time. You want to send them out 2 months, 2 to 2.5 months in advance so that your guests can have time to review it and then respond.
And you're still going to have to call 30% of them, guys.
I was
I'm
going to
so
say,
sorry.
because you get in the mail, you open it, you file it away, and then you realize you've missed that deadline for that RSVP.
Yeah, you're still going to
And
have to call
don't wait.
30% of your people.
Don't wait to call your guests. I mean, when that RSVP deadline hits,
Call
start
them.
calling them that day.
Yeah. Yeah,
'Cause you
call them
need
that
to
way.
know.
And I'm a big fan of the A and B list. I know that this is going to be. I know that I like an A and B list
The
personally.
A and B
I'm
list.
not a fan.
Really? I know we talk about this. We're like, no, but I think that if you get within 2 weeks, you get some no's. I think within
Time to
2
go to the
weeks,
B
you
list?
can blame it on the post office.
That's hilarious. So that's still a thing, the A list, the B list.
It's always going to be a thing. It's always gonna be-
Traditionally, who pays for the wedding? Is it still?
That's crazy now.
Is it?
It used to be that the bride's parents used to pay,
Yeah.
That must have been
In most
before my
cases-
time, but okay.
but that has severely changed. I mean, couples are getting married a little bit older. Couples are also more established in their careers, so they're pretty much more involved than in the past.
And it seems to be a group effort in many ways. Like both sides of the family, the bride's parents and the groom's parents will give them a chunk of money to use however they want. Now that can be a dangerous thing because they might say, well, I want to use part of that to buy a new home. And that's smart, but that also means that you're not going to have that for your wedding. Right? And then they'll put in a chunk of change themselves. So it tends to be a group effort. But please don't put it on your credit card. Please.
No.
I know. The 23% is not
You
going to be
want
worth
to pay
it.
it off, be done with it.
Yeah. If it points, damn right. All over the point. Oop. I'm all over the points. But yeah.
It's true. And he brings back scary memories. Because Michelle and her mom, they were separated, they were divorced. Each one gave me about 5 large. I was short $17,000 on the day of the wedding. Because I had to take care of honeymoons, which is another question I want to ask you.
Yep.
I had to take care of honeymoons and blah, 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 blah. So my uncles came to see me upstairs and they said, how short are you? And I showed them the bill. And they started putting money on the table. And I went, and again, this was a side of my uncles I've never seen in my life. And I walked out with $6,000 to take with me on my honeymoon. And they say, here, now this is for you. I was like, who are these
That's
people?
amazing.
Now, are the registries, people still doing that? Or they're doing more of this honeymoon registry that you told me about?
Yes, Honey Fund is a very big trend right now for couples because a lot of times they want to take the money and put it towards their honeymoon.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
they want
massage.
to choose whether they want massage, they want dinners, they want to do excursions and things like that.
Because couples are older, and so they have china, they have glassware,
Right.
they have their home kind
And
of
they're already
built.
living together
And
a
they're
lot of
already
Yes,
times.
living
already
together.
living together.
Yeah, and so now if you have a place that it makes the person giving the money, there's a thing in sales that says you have to make it easy for people to buy.
Right.
In the wedding industry, you got to make it easy for people to give. And so if you have a website that says a massage for 2, is $100, oh, excellent. The person giving goes, great, I'm so excited. I'm giving them a massage for 2. If the couple use it for the massage, great. Probably won't.
Right.
You know.
And then whatever they don't use, they can always get back in the end.
Yeah, and then get back in the end.
Oh, that's
Because like
cool.
honeyfund.com will send you a check. We'll send a couple a check, like for all of it, for the full amount,
Wow.
not gift certificates.
Yeah, I know that's what the kids want to do. They want to go on a honeymoon because they're in an apartment this big
Yeah.
and they don't have room for anything. They barely have room for 4 wine glasses that they have. So what are they going to do with it? So they want to do a honeymoon fund. So that's it.
one last thing, favors. Please don't do favors. I hate favors as a wedding planner. They get left behind because you said wine glasses.
Right.
And then, of course, you remember that you used to have your wedding name emblazoned on one side and with the wedding date, and everybody got a wine glass
Yes.
with somebody else's name on it. Who wants a wine glass with somebody else's name on it? Nobody.
It's true, the favors, everyone wants to do something.
Yeah, do something interesting. Like there's a company called Frost 321 that does
Mm-hmm.
nitrogen ice cream with alcohol.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's frozen alcohol, so it's actually
Nitrogen ice cream.
nitrogen ice cream. So they do like a tequila lime sorbet.
I like that.
And each scoop is actually a shot of tequila.
Oh
so
my
it can get
gosh.
crazy
I would
quickly.
like to get
I
that.
saw a hangover bag.
Oh, I love a
Yes,
hangover
hangover
bag.
bags are
oh, I
great.
love a
Everyone can go
hangover
with like a
bag.
hangover bag.
What is that?
They have a
Yes.
hangover bus too.
Really?
Yes.
What's it like an
After.
IV fusion bus?
For after, yes.
Yeah, for after.
What's a
IB.
hangover bag? What is that?
So imagine a big medical bus pulls up and it has all these beautiful couches and stuff inside, and they have these yellow bags that basically a nurse hooks you up,
IV.
an IV, and it rehydrates you and put all the vitamins and nutrients
And
back into your
electrolytes.
body and reduces
they're
your
shaking
hangover.
their
Look,
head
he's
like,
shaking
yes.
his head.
You've been on
yeah,
that?
it's the best. It is the best. Vegas has a bunch of these. They just go around from
Yes.
casino to casino.
We got to meet these people.
And then they got the hangover bag where you send them home with water, aspirin, Pepto,
Oh, it's the
right?
best.
Things.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Those are usually put into the welcome bags.
Yeah, Pedialyte. I'm just saying, powder
Yes.
Pedialyte. That is people's
Powder
favorite.
period.
See,
I
all these
love
things
that.
I have to think about because it's a destination. So I need
What, you
90
need, you
bags.
Need, what do you need? Pepto-Bismol?
welcome bags, right? So in the
Yes.
welcome bags, you put all these other things in.
But you see how many options there are, and we
That's
haven't
hilarious.
even scratched
This
the
is just
surface.
a minuscule part.
Yeah,
And
this
that
is-
you don't even think of in the budget, right? Next thing you know, you've got a couple $100 for that and that's not the budget that anyone gave you all to plan this.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is that if you have a good planner, and this is why a planner's worth their weight in gold, a good planner.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, because they will look at your budget, they will make sure that you stay in it, and it's important that they're a practical planner. You know, a practical planner will say, look, you either can do this and be here on your budget, or you can do this and it's going to take you over the budget. Which one is more important to you? And then let the decision fall on the couple.
You guys are awesome. You also have a podcast.
Oh yeah,
We do.
we do. I forgot. We talked to
It's
each
called
other. every
Behind the
week.
Veil.
Behind the Veil.
Keith is the host. I'm a co-host, and we have one other co-host. Her name is Brooke.
Yeah, Brooke Logan.
And Brooke Logan Stoner. And we have a great time. We have it's on every week, every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
And it's live.
live.
And it's very successful. Your numbers are tremendous. You have incredible guests that you interview.
Yeah, so we had Colin Cowie, we had David Tatera, we had Monty
Cece-
from Say Yes to the
Monty.
Dress,
Wow.
CC.
Cece Todd,
Todd.
who was awesome. She's crazy. I love Cece.
And a lot of the event and wedding professionals.
That's
that are in
amazing.
the
And we
industry.
really try to highlight local businesses on
Yes.
there as well. We try to make sure at least one or two shows a month are local businesses that we highlight, because it's important that we give back to our community that's been so lovely to us. We started it because of COVID, because nobody had answers.
Right.
And so we had
And it started as a Zoom session.
It started as a Zoom session, a couple hundred people watching a week, and now we're like 23,000 on YouTube and another 30,000 on our podcast.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Well, it's great because
crazy.
you got the right personality. Listen, in New York City, if you want to have a destination wedding into Florida, I didn't even think about that. We're in New York and New Jersey right now, and if you want to reach out,
What's the best way for people to contact you both?
Go ahead.
I am available at rsvps4u.com and or my company, An Affair to Remember by Marcy. My phone number is 954-306-5999.
And mine's easy. I'm basically all social media at Keith Willard, KeithWillard. So, and KeithWillardEvents.com. But basically, Instagram at Keith Willard. At LinkedIn is the only one that's weird. It's Keith Willard 1. I don't understand how I missed my own name on LinkedIn, but
And can
yeah.
people hire you for small parts of the wedding? If they have a small, so maybe just they need invitations, they
Yes.
just need some ideas from that small all the way up to everything.
Well, the thing is that Marcy is the immediate past president of NACE, and I'm the immediate past president of NACE, which is the National Association of Catering Events. And so we have a Rolodex of people. So no matter what anybody has as far as a need when it comes to weddings, if we can't do it, we'll have somebody that we know that can.
Well, I got a bridal shower I got to plan in February. So if you can stay with us on the other side of this break, we got more stuff to talk about, like who's supposed to pay for bachelor and bachelorette parties and bridal showers and then destination everything.
You can see the pressure's mounting. Frankie in New York, my nephew, you getting married, you want to do destination.
Is he?
If you're getting married, don't say what the Freddie said. If you are, this is the way to go, because I tell you, they take all the pain out of doing it. Been
It's
there a
so
couple
much
of times.
fun. You
Right.
guys are amazing. You make this so much fun. Maybe you may want to think about.
Yeah, Frankie, don't listen to her. Frankie.
Well, we want to bring the
come
joy
on now.
back into planning. And I think that's the hard part, is that we want to bring the joy back into planning. It's supposed to be fun.
Amazing. Keith Willard, Marcy Gutenberg, thank you so much. Stay tuned. On the other side of this news break, commercial break, we're going to be back in New York, New Jersey. Thank you so much for having us. WGHT, we will see you next week, and we'll be back on the other side of this break.
We'll be back.
Planning for the future should not be painful and needs to be discussed. From health, family, finances, allow qualified professionals to aid in your planning. Luhu Advisors have been serving South Florida for over 30 years. A licensed real estate broker, insurance agent, assisted living administrator, and certified senior advisor, Paul Solomon is the most qualified and well-rounded advisor for any task. Specializing in real estate, long-term care, life insurance and annuities, Social Security, government benefits, and senior housing. Luhu Advisors. Let us help you. Known for his Art Deco Cubist style and compositions with dancing saturated color, Ken Bieberman has lived and breathed art his whole life. From the early 80s, he's influenced the Art Deco district of Miami Beach. Featured in numerous restoration projects, hotels, galleries, and clubs, Bieberman creates for everyday folks and celebrity clientele. He's also the proprietor of Art Repro, a giclée and scanning company in Pompano Beach. When it comes to scanning high resolution, size is not an issue. Professionally scanning art up to 10 feet and 64 inches in width, Art Repro utilizes state-of-the-art equipment. On quality canvas or paper, archival ink and printing mediums are put to use. Art Repro ensures colors are true and every nuance of the art is captured, including the canvas weave. Perfection is the priority. Contact artist Ken Bieberman today at 954-547-0095 or visit his website www.artrepro.net.
Hi, I'm Dawn Clifford, owner and founder of Clifford Insurance Advisors. Established in November of 1999, we focus on mainly health, life, disability, Medicare, and long-term care insurance. Specifically for people aging into Medicare or the self-employed or even employee benefits for small business owners. We can be reached by phone number at 561-880-0391 or by email info@cliffordinsuranceadvisors.com. Visit our website at www.cliffordinsuranceadvisors.com and even visit Facebook, Clifford Insurance Advisors.
Being a successful woman in business means having the courage to own who you are. We understand the challenges faced by women, and we are here to help. Our team is here to develop the best strategy designed just for you. Your path is unique, and with the right tools, you can accomplish your dream. From radio to TV, from podcasting to magazines, We create the visibility to amplify your impact in business. At New Dawn Media, we are here to help bring your message forward and help your business flourish. It is time for your message to be seen and your voice to be heard. Contact us at 866-224-5422 or brooklyncafe.tv. Your voice can make a difference.
Welcome to Movies of Delray, a family-run movie theater that has been serving the Delray and Boca community for over 30 years. Open Wednesday through Sunday, Movies of Delray offers great admission prices, low concession prices, and quality customer service. Movies of Delray provides the quality of the big box theaters without the price tag. Movies of Delray provides new Hollywood content as well as new indie and independent movies. It truly is a hidden gem. Whether you're hosting a private event, party, or fundraiser, or are looking for your next date night activity, Movies of Delray is the perfect choice. Come on down to Movies of Delray, located at 7421 West Atlantic Ave in Delray Beach, or visit us online at moviesofdelray.com.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Donald Trump has given every signal he's running for president in 2024. The FBI's search of his Mar-a-Lago home in Florida on Monday may only harden his resolve to jump in the race and possibly speed up the timetable.
Because they don't want Donald Trump to run and win again in 2024.
The surge has angered many of the former president's supporters who rallied outside of Trump Tower in New York. Trump PACs are already fundraising off the news, sending out texts asking supporters to donate.
At least 8 people have died and 7 more are missing after the heaviest rainfall in 80 years pounded South Korea, leaving streets, subway stations, vehicles, and homes flooded in and around the capital city of Seoul, officials said Tuesday.
Torrential rain has knocked out power lines, caused landslides, and submerged roads and subways across the capital and in a neighboring province. In Seoul's glitzy Gangnam district, buildings flooded and vehicles have been submerged, leaving many stranded.
China announced new military drills around Taiwan, eliciting concerns from U.S. President Joe Biden days after the scheduled end of Beijing's largest exercises to protest last week's visit to the island by U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
China has ramped up its military drills, extending the ones around Taiwan and launching fresh exercises in the waters near the Korean peninsula. The foreign ministry today said that the extension near Taiwan is to warn, quote, troublemakers and to punish those in Taiwan who might support independence.
Russia and Ukraine traded accusations that each side is shelling Europe's biggest power plant in southern Ukraine. Russia claimed that Ukraine's shelling caused a power surge and fire and forced staff to lower the output from 2 reactors, while Ukraine has blamed Russian troops for storing weapons there.
There is no such nation in the world that could feel safe when a terrorist state fires at a nuclear plant.
This is the latest news headlines. Police have arrested a suspect in connection with the murders of 4 Muslim men in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Investigators tracked down the Volkswagen sedan with tinted windows allegedly driven by the suspect in the most recent homicide, the Albuquerque Police Department announced Tuesday afternoon. The driver of the car has been detained and is the primary suspect of all 4 murders, police said. 4 Muslim men have been killed in what police described as a possible string of murders. The death of an Arkansas judge whose body was recovered from a lake is being investigated as an accidental drowning, authorities said. 48-year-old Jeremiah T. Bucher went missing Saturday night, and his body was recovered the next morning from Mud Lake in Raydale, about 75 miles southeast of Little Rock, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office said. Major Gary McLean told the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette that Bucher was missing after going on a ride on a recreational vehicle. He was spending the weekend with family at a nearby cabin, McLean said. Axios has agreed to sell itself to Cox Enterprises in a deal that values the digital media firm at $525 million. A source familiar with the matter said on Monday. Atlanta-based Cox, a family-owned conglomerate that also owns the Dayton Daily News and other newspapers in Ohio, said the acquisition will help diversify its business. Axios is selling at roughly 5 times its projected 2022 revenue of more than $100 million, according to the source. Gas prices have fallen for nearly 2 months straight as drivers avoid the pump even during peak summer driving season. The national average for the price of gas fell to $4.05 on Monday, falling nearly $1 since prices hit an all-time peak of $5.01 in June, according to data from AAA. California and Hawaii are the only states where the average price of gas per gallon at the pump remains above $5, with Californians paying an average of $5.44, according to AAA. And that's the latest news headlines. I'm Alan Edwards.
Won't you take me by the hand? Won't you let me know what's up in your head? And I know, oh, it might not be the right time for you and me. And that's okay, as long as you're happy. Yeah, that's okay, as long as you're happy. Won't you let me know what's real? Won't you tell me just for once how you feel? And I know, oh, it might not be the right time for you and me. And that's okay, as long as you're happy. Yeah, that's okay, as long as you're happy. Won't you take me by the hand? Won't you let me know what's up in your head? And I know, oh, it might not be the right time for you and me. And that's okay, as long as you're happy. Yeah, that's okay, if you wanna be without me.
That works too. And we're back. Haley, why don't you go sit over there? Let's put Haley on a chair with a mic.
Microphone.
So we can split her up. Haley actually is our OG, was the youngest producer we had in the house, and she's going back to the University of Central Florida. And today is not the last day, but today is the last day of this set.
Of this summer, correct.
Of the summer.
And I really can't believe when you told us last year, I'll be back in May, and she came back in May, and she sat down with us. She said, is it okay if I come in every day and work with you for the whole summer? And we thought, heck, we're all in. It's the whole summer, and now it's the whole summer, and she's going back to school, and I can't believe time has gone like that.
I know. I remember when she first came in here, and we sat with her and we talked to her, and she was a senior in high school. Down at that school, you know what school that is. It was tough times. And then she's up there. She's done some shows from the college. And I can still remember when we let her go last year. And this year it just gets a little bit harder. You know?
This means she's coming back more.
I understand, but wait till your son gets married and he goes through that door, and all of a sudden you're gonna say, "Wow, it's not like he's going to another world," but it's just hard because you're used to getting up and coming to work and seeing her.
I know what it's gonna be like every morning. Katie, you're gonna have to come a little bit earlier. She's going, what? I know.
And all the things that she contributes and everything else, but
She's amazing. We love you. You've been an amazing asset to us, and more to come virtually, which is the beautiful thing about COVID is now we can do so much virtual. We won't be here in person, but we got lots of stuff to do. Lots of stuff.
it ain't easy. And the funny thing is that she has grown. It's funny, God never gave me a daughter. I say this all the time. And this is the closest thing in the world that I would want as a daughter, because you see her grow. You see them get older. You see them mature. And right before your eyes, all of a sudden, you say, you know something? She's going to be all right. We're going to all be all right, because she's maturing into this young, vibrant woman. She does production. I threw at her in the last week at the hardest, in 15 years, the hardest thing I've ever done in this business, which is Jeff Santos' show. And her and Josh, military, they took it on, and they said, we're going to do it until we get it right. And she's one of the best. So it really breaks my heart, because I thought that the momentum was just there. But we've all agreed, you got 3 more years, you got to get your paper. And after that, we'll see what we'll do with you.
She'll be back. Ready for some new stuff? You excited?
Yeah, I'm so excited to go back up. I'm sad to leave, obviously, but I will still be in contact. I still want to do my show from up there, and yeah. So hopefully, yeah, and the Jeff Santos show, maybe we'll try to figure that out.
You're going to be working with Rose too, right?
Yeah, and Rose
I'm sure
as well.
there's going to be more added onto your plate, so. And if you need event planning, if you ever need another one.
No marriage till after you finish.
I don't mean that. I meant
graduate.
sometimes he has big gigs he needs help on.
Oh, that's true.
Gigs for hire, so. No, I'm not getting her married. She's 19.
Yeah. Not until she's 39.
No, but we were talking. Sometimes he's got big events and he's looking for extra hands.
Well, extra hands you have in here. You got photographers in here. You got computer people in here. You got editors in here. They do commercials all the way from Comcast all the way to television.
And that's when, you never know where the contacts are going to come from.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you about that. If I can have a 3-shot, you guys, because you said you never know who's going to come back into your life and when they do.
Right.
Which is interesting, because things that we talk about all the time. I met you 12 years ago, I think. But we've only been working together for 7, because for 4 years,
Right.
it just the timing wasn't right.
Well, and that's one of the things is that, as you go through life, now that I'm in my 50s, there are people that I met in my 20s that are still part of my life that I might not have seen for decades. And because I had that previous experience with them, I feel like I already know them. We already get each other, and it just goes right back into that old rhythm. Never burn bridges, only build bridges. And you're going to be surprised years down the road how it affects you and how it'll benefit you. Absolutely. Yeah.
And
I'm excited for you.
We talked about how you got into this business, and you said one thing led you to the next,
Yeah.
and as a mentor, and now you mentor others.
Well, and that's one of the things is that you just never know where that next new opportunity is going to happen. I mean, mine happened during one of my not-for-profit events, and it changed my life completely. It totally redirected me, and it's happened a couple of times throughout my life. I was actually volunteering my time for another event at a hotel, a local hotel. I just moved to Florida, had no business, had no clients, needed to find a way to figure out how to make some money. I decided to volunteer my time to throw an event, and the director of catering at the hotel loved my work ethic and offered me a job. Awesome. And from there, I worked my way up through the hotels to become a director of catering for Ritz-Carlton, and then I went back out on my own.
That's incredible.
But that's what I'm saying. You just never know. Life has a way of pushing you in the direction you're supposed to go. And I think most people get into trouble when they try to push away.
Yeah.
Allow the world to whisk you away and into new adventures. It's amazing.
You'd be a perfect fit for Spirit Life.
It'd be perfect for. He has good delivery. It's funny.
He does.
We've been blessed. I think it was 6 years ago. Dawn and her daughter put in an application to bring in interns to teach them something different than what school does. Production. being the director. Now you are very familiar with that whole deal. And when they walk in through the door, everything, I tell them, everything that they taught you over there, keep over there. What I'm about to show you over here is a different world. But we've been gifted with a room full of creative minds, creatives. And they are very, you have to have your own show in here before you leave, somewhere along the line. Soup to nuts, including commercials, opens, closes, and everything else.
Right.
Because you got to learn the business from the inside. But my goodness, have we been blessed. So every time somebody leaves or gets another job, it's like tough, you know? It's like watching your kids growing up, maturing, and now they're going to go down their separate ways. But hopefully we keep on going. We hold on to this one. And today, again, I want to thank you again from the bottom of my heart for everything you've done to help us, to help them, to be a mentor, to help those that have come in after us. You know that we get crazy, and I mean, you guys came in, you saw us just doing crazy stuff that needs to get done, and they take over. You know, you and Josh and Bree are taking over for the new crew that's coming in. So I got to tip my hat.
Maybe.
I got to tip my hat.
Eventually we'll have new ones coming in, but
They're coming. They're coming.
And
They
you guys
always
have your
come.
own language here too, by the way. So I was like, what? How do they just? Okay. I mean, it was like it is. It's you have your own family language behind the scenes. And
They're our family.
Yeah.
And every single one of them, and they've learned. Some of them were fortunate enough to stay with us for years until they move on. And hopefully they won't be moving on anymore. Hopefully we get to that next level where we can actually keep that core, like you have that 5 or 6 core group.
Yeah.
And then when you need those W-9s, you got those W-9s. But in the meantime, you got, right, Haley, in the meantime, you got that core group that you know can get you where you need to go on a daily basis.
Yeah, you never know. They may go national, and maybe NBC picks them up for a 7 o'clock show, and you're there. I'm serious. You just never know.
Well, you know, it's funny you say
Dream
that.
big,
It's
dream
funny
big.
you saying that because for 15 years, I've chased to open up a 24-hour television studio, and I'm there now.
Yeah.
And she and all the kids helped me get there. My son, who's a boy genius, I hate to admit that, but he is. We now have the technology to do it.
Right.
And we have the content to do it. What we do with it now is the new what's next. But you're right. You never know when you put it out there if it's what people are looking for, and all of a sudden it becomes a runaway train, like your podcast.
Yeah.
You didn't wake up one day and says, I'm going to have a fantastic podcast.
No, I actually never knew I was going to have a podcast, to be honest. Never knew.
You got up and did it.
It was never even a dream, to be honest. And then it just happened.
And look at the people you have on. I mean, those people, those are dream interviews.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
you have one after another.
well, and probably one of the things that you've learned here, it's amazing how people open up when you have such a wide audience watching, and because it's such a private, intimate space here, and that all of a sudden, you know, you're able to pry stuff out of people, and not pry, I should say, people open up naturally when we're talking to them. You know, I mean, you do a really lovely thing, and I think this is the one thing that I think most kids have a problem is you look at me in the eye when I talk to you, and that's a big deal. Like, I cannot even tell you how many times I've had to teach some of my mentees to be like, okay, look up, stop texting, shake hands, you know, be present.
Yeah.
And you're very present.
Thank you. I feel like it's a maturity thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But don't get rid of the boots.
She'll always be the boots. But it's true, you know, if you fight what's going on, and sometimes I'll say to you, I feel like I'm swimming upstream, because what sometimes comes at you at this business is not always pretty. A lot of times, I think it's less pretty than it is pretty often. And it comes out and you feel like I just can't keep fighting the fight anymore. I can't keep fighting the negative and the this.
Right.
But when you keep fighting it, it doesn't open you up for the other things that can possibly come. Like you said, you never know.
You never know.
When you fight it, it doesn't happen.
Right, exactly. Let life push you where it's supposed to go.
It's like how we ended up here.
Well, you got to take the challenge. Otherwise, how are you going to know the success, right?
Right.
So you can't be afraid of something going wrong. You just have to be afraid of getting it right, taking the bad, making it good. We lost a light. She comes down and says,
why is that on the
why is
floor?
the light on the floor? I said, the hanger's broken. I can't solder it right now. I'm going to use it. And it was funny because I had just told her I wanted to
You
put a
just
light
said
on the
to me
floor.
yesterday, I needed an uplight. Well, there you go.
Well, that's it.
You do lighting, you do event planning, you do set designs, you do all of it.
I do all of it. I mean, one of the things that because you're an event planner, half my business used to be corporate, and of course COVID changed a lot of that. But you learned how to do a lot of the back of the house kind of stuff. It was kind of like, I got some great advice from my mom when I first started my business, and she said, do your own accounting for your first 2 years, because then you know what the numbers mean when you have an accountant. And the same thing came when I was working on set designs and behind the scenes for these larger events. It's like, get involved, learn it, so that way you understand what the terminology is, and so you're not beholden to someone else. And you can actually be a part of the team versus, oh God, here he comes, right? And I think that's really important. Is learn as much as you can about everything. It'll serve you well. And also remember that when you fail really hard, that's going to be the time that you learn the most. Yeah.
You get out of your comfort zone. Do you have a favorite part of what you do in the event planning process?
My favorite moment is when they actually get married. Yeah, there's just something that happens that's just so magical at that moment when they say "I do," and you can be calloused individual that hates the world, but there is something about two people that are madly in love connecting, and just that moment. I've seen people that have been divorced and remarried 5 times, and on the 6th wedding, they still have that magical moment of when they say "I do," because love is love.
Love is love, and it's that moment, right, when it all comes to fruition. It's like when we pull off a great gig.
Yeah.
Or we're able to connect you with somebody else and we know there's going to be a great connection.
Yeah.
Or someone feels empowered and they say, wow, I had to share my story. I've never shared it before. And then but it could be that big of a moment. So all that other stuff is for that moment.
Yeah, I mean, weddings is one thing, and then like on the podcast, when people open up about some type of like personal journey that really helped them, like David talked about being shoved into a locker when he was 11 years old or 12 years old, and how he was horribly, abused and bullied in school, and how that really changed the direction of how he treats other people to this day. I mean, that's a big deal to hear from somebody that has a name for themselves and has a reputation to be that open and honest about where they came from. And the same thing, and it seemed that like a lot of really famous people in the event industry came from a place of pain. I find that fascinating that here are people making things of beauty and adding to the joy of the world came from these horrific backgrounds. And it just kind of makes you believe in humanity again, when you actually stop and listen to some of these stories.
That makes sense to you, Haley?
Oh, yeah.
Why? Why do you think?
I don't know. Obviously, I've always had like a love for production, and even like before everything happened, like at my school, I felt like that did bring me wanting to share my own story personally. It was kind of like shamed to go out and like make a video or share something on TikTok about like the Douglas shooting if you were involved in it. So you kind of got like backlash from like people at school, but like now I feel like I'm an adult and it happened to me, so I want to share my story, and I have on my podcast and on this show as well. So yeah, I feel like because of that, I want to make more content that's kind of like deeper meaning and kind of raise awareness with gun control and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Believe your own voice. Screw those others. You know what's going to happen about those others? They're going to be doing nothing with their lives at some point. Right? Let your light shine bright. Just because people are complaining it's shining in their eyes doesn't mean you shouldn't be shining brightly.
Yeah, I agree.
Good point.
Right?
Good point.
I'm a hardcore believer in that. I think that what kids have to go through now I mean, we all talk about how we had simpler, easier lives when we were growing up, and it's true. We had simpler, easier lives growing up, and I think that what is going to be surprising years from now is that the amount of beauty that has come out of such horrible anguish, because now you've seen it. You've seen the monster, and now you want to beat the monster and create something new, and I get that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you're going to be amazing.
Thank you.
How do you keep so positive and uplifted?
Drugs. No, I'm kidding. No. I mean, no, seriously, I think it's something that I think is born in people. There's a light that I feel that people are just born with. I mean, there are some people that you feel like they were just born bad, or that don't have the ability to see the happier side of life. And I really feel horrible for those individuals because they don't get to see how much beauty is around us. But we've been lucky because I'm in the event industry and because I see the love every week. I mean, it kind of refreshes the optimism when you see people happy all the time. Now, they're not happy all the way working towards it, but when the day comes, there's just nothing but love and joy surrounding you, and you can't help but get a little of that through osmosis, And it's like working in places like this, the joy, the love, the support, it affects people long term. Definitely. It feeds on itself.
Well, I remember we used to have fun when we did anything.
We used to have fun.
Yeah, I was about to say used to.
Back in the day.
So some of the things that we say today on the show,
right?
I look at them, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" But back in the day, we made fun of ourselves. We made fun of our friends. We weren't so stringent on laughter and enjoying things. And I can't. There are things. They got banners here.
Disclaimers.
Disclaimers about things that I say. But this is what we did in the day. We never ever said anything that hurt anybody. They will push it on the bottom of the screen. There's a disclaimer. We don't take any responsibility.
Oh, for goodness
sakes.
And
I'm like, you got to be kidding me. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Back in the day, we all have fun.
Yeah.
And we all made fun of each other. We used to sing those song parodies. You remember those song parodies?
God.
You used to take little pieces of songs, and if they say, look at Dawn walk into the room, and there was a parody that came in there. Can't even do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because you get in trouble. I can't say half the things I want to say.
Well, everything's hypersensitive now.
Everything's hypersensitive, and I think that if you have a self-deprecation, if you're okay with making fun of yourself, and you have that kind of ability to say, look at me, look at the mistakes I've made, and it makes other people feel comfortable also.
Yeah.
You basically create your own environment. So if you put out in the world nothing but negativity around you, that's what you're going to get back. If you put in nothing but joy, you're going to get a little negativity here and there, but mostly you're going to joy back. But I can't even tell you how many people said, "What are you doing?" I moved to Florida when I was 34, and I was burned out. I was in the event industry. I had worked my way up, and I decided that I needed a change. I didn't like where my life was. And so I sold everything. I sold my house. I sold my business. I had a truck because I'm from Texas. Gotta have a truck, and loaded it up with my dog. The whole country song, everything, and moved to Florida to start a brand new life because I wanted to do something different, be something different. And it's amazing how many of my friends, and I said friends lately, were like, "What are you doing? Oh my God, you're ruining your life." And I don't think they understood that in order sometimes to find yourself, you have to be in a brand new environment, right? And I allowed myself that growth, that opportunity, and I hate to even say this, but Will Smith actually had a great saying. He said, "You got to push through the fear to find the joy." And it's one of the things that kind of resonates in my head all the time. It's like you got to push through the fear to find the joy. And it's surprising how many times that once I got past the thing that I was scared of, how fabulous everything else was after that.
I believe in that too, definitely.
Yeah, like, well, my goddaughter. So my goddaughter she was in Texas, and she graduated, and I said to her, I said, you gotta you got to get out of there. I said, you're allowing your life to be dependent on the opinions of others. Your friends that you've grown up with in high school and what have you. You're allowing their opinion of what you were to determine what you're going to be. I said, so get out of there. Go somewhere else. And so she finally settled in Chicago. And man, she just blossomed. I mean, I'm so proud of her. But it was still very scary. And I said, don't be scared. We're here to support you. Her uncles, gay uncles. We're here to support you. And we will be there to catch you. But you need to make the jump. And so it's incredible. So make the jump.
I love his delivery. I love the way you'd be great. Anytime you give up the event business, you'd be great in the hosting field. Am I right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you elevate people. You've got a great sense of humor. You've
Thank
got
you.
great wisdom and all positivity. It's amazing.
And you lived it.
Huh?
And you've lived it.
And I lived it, and I live it. I believe in it, and it's something that I bring into my everyday living. I try to make sure that I do things ethically, always above board on everything. It's one of the reasons that I don't take kickbacks from any of my vendors, because I feel that muddies the room. And I'm probably being overly sensitive about that, but I feel like I need to do that to make sure that I keep that open, positive relationship with my clients, with my other vendors, with everybody, that we're one team and everybody brings something to the event. I don't know it all. I do not know how to DJ. I am the worst DJ. I cannot sing to save my life. I mean, even my shower drain tries to run away. I mean, it is, and I'm not such a great driver either, but too bad. I'm still going to be on the road. But that's why I know people that are great DJs, that are great photographers. Let them be brilliant at what they do. And when you allow people to do that, you have no idea what's going to come out. It's going to be fantastic, better than you ever could have imagined in the first place. So take the lid off, let people steam away.
Wow.
It's interesting because you give the kids an opportunity to show their creativity.
Yeah.
You give them an opportunity that says, listen, let's do it your way. In here, they're not interns, because interns go get coffee. In here, I get them coffee, because I think that they have the most unique, creative minds. They come up with stuff sometimes that just floors me.
I know, it's crazy.
I'm like, wow, this is unbelievable.
Well, like the piece they put together for you, we didn't know they did anything. All they kept saying is, she won't get off the board, she won't get off the board. But they put the song, they got your picture together, they wanted to do something for you. It is, we are a family here. And it's amazing.
It is. And it's funny because I read on the news that Serena Williams is going to retire.
That's not what she called it.
Well, that's right. That's not what because she called it escape, right? Freedom or something like that?
She's like reinventing or emerging, or do you know? Have you heard this? About
she's
Serena
leaving.
Too much stress?
Evolving. That's it.
She's evolving.
She's evolving.
And the funny thing about that is that she used her anger because she just wanted to play tennis.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't want all this, and she became the greatest tennis player in my estimation, anyway, from the ones I've seen in the world. One of the greatest athletes in the world. And she's saying goodbye to it because she's done. The body can't keep up to the rigors. But she used her anger, her bitterness, all the things to show that she could, because people told her she couldn't.
Right.
And it's a funny story. When I got into streaming 14 years ago, people laughed, and they told me I couldn't. I was too old. I was too slow. I was too.
Oh, God.
And my 14-year-old son at the time, he said to me, come on, let's go do this.
Yeah.
And Gio hasn't stopped. And here we go. And now we're going to go to another level. And if I can pour some of that into them, about just hold on to what you believe. It doesn't matter what anybody else. You just hold on to what you believe in, and they're going to be all right, man. They're going to be all right.
What's the big dream for you, by the way? What's the big dream? I mean, put it out there.
So I think I want to go to. I always ask people what their big dreams are.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Does it feel a little weird being on the other side of this?
Yeah. But I think my big dream is I want to go to LA.
Yeah.
I want to be a videographer. I want to work in horror.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so the
She wants your job.
Yeah,
The
no,
one
I
you
love
had
it.
before.
Not the horror part, but Nope. Did you see the movie Nope?
I haven't seen it. No, but I love Jordan Peele. He's one of my
God.
favorites.
It was shocking how good I liked it because I'm not a horror person, and
Yeah, I heard it was very, very
The
good.
horror genre, opening people's eyes to that it's not just the
Yeah, that's like, I love the kind of psychological horror thriller films. That's kind of what I want to do as well.
see. She's gonna produce films. Look at that.
Wait till you get married. You're gonna live all of that.
The horror side of it?
Horror side.
No, one day they're all going to be in love and do what they have to, well, do what they want to do.
Listen, as long as you're happy, it opens up the doors to everything.
Yeah.
You know, happiness begins with you. After that, sky's the limit. But you know, it's true. I can see why your podcast attracts so many listeners. We always taught in this business that voices have to sort of carry. It's harder to do podcasts than what we do, because our body sort of talks for us. But
Right.
podcasting, you got to hold people's attention, and you have to do that with voice and everything else that goes with it. So I can see why they're successful.
You go live though, right? You don't edit it.
We don't edit
No,
it.
live.
We go, it's live. So whatever gets thrown out there gets thrown out there.
Which is
And,
great.
You know, when you look at the years, the 3 years, you can tell people on it just by our appearance if we were going through good times and we were going through bad times. And that was one of the things that when we started it, I said I want people to see me, right? The good and the bad, because we're all going through it. You know, and it gets really, really scary sometimes. And you know, is my business gonna fail because I can't get, you know, business? I'm a small business, for F's sakes. Ooh, that was close. Anyway, but you know what I mean. And so it's important to share who you are, because when you do, other people do. And maybe you can figure out a way to make that a horror film. I would love that. You know, how do you find somebody's insides and turn them out? Oh, that would be awesome. But no, is that? But back to
My
you,
podcast
right?
is called
That's
Inside Out.
Oh, is it really? Oh, see, ta-da! That's what I'm saying. And I think one of the things for having a podcast, one of the things that you have to learn how to do is listen to other people.
Yeah, exactly.
And hear what they have to say, and then pull that out of them.
Yeah.
Because the show isn't about me. I mean, I don't even bring up my own company during the thing. I mean, I bring up Marcy's company. I don't know why it's become part of my rhetoric when we first start the show every day or every Tuesday. But the rest of it is asking questions and trying to figure out them. And, you know, why are you in the business that you are? What makes it great? What kind of information can you share with other people? And so that is, as long as you keep it about the other person.
Yeah.
You know. So,
And everyone has a story, so I love the
Everybody-
fact that you ask your guests, these
Yeah.
big name guests,
Right.
those personal stories,
Yeah.
because you don't get where you are in life
Right.
without a story, right? And you talk about
Wow.
those that have pain. We do a lot of women empowerment here.
Yeah.
And sometimes we say that to get that rock bottom is when you come out with the most growth and when you want to give back the most, because you know how you felt in that moment.
Yeah.
You felt in that pain. I'm sure for you in Dallas, your life wasn't always easy where
No.
you sit, and coming to Florida might have been a better opportunity for you in certain respects, and in Texas, I don't know.
Yeah, no, 100%. You're dead on.
But
You
it's
know?
different stories. So bringing those out from all of these high name guests that you have gives everyone else a level of hope. They go, you know what? I have a story.
Yeah.
Maybe there's hope on the other side of this pain and this fear and this trauma that I'm going through.
Well, it's weird because the podcast is really about, you know, event and wedding industry, and about the business of doing an event. And so we have people that are, you know, DJs and event planners and designers. And I don't know why, but during the conversation, it always happens like the last 15, 20 minutes. So if you don't want to watch the whole podcast, just fast forward 40 minutes and you'll get to the good stuff. But, and that's where the good stuff actually starts to happen, because we've gotten past all the things that they want to say and the things that they want to share. And then we have conversations about, like, how did you get into this? You know, what was the preface of why did you truly do this in your life? You know, why did you become an entrepreneur? I mean, that's a big one. Like, why people come be entrepreneurs is beside me. I don't know why I did it either. It must be crazy gene or something. And that's when the things start to get personal, because many times it's set on somebody doing something at some point to them, and something beautiful happened next that they latched onto. You know, like David, he latched on to beauty. Colin Cowie actually started his business while he was in the Army. He was creating these dinners for his troops that he was serving with as a means of brightening up their days because they were seeing so much death and destruction around them. And that's why Colin Cowie even got into the business, which is shocking. And then he moved to, and I mean, this man, Colin, it's crazy. I mean, then he moved to California, and what he did within 6 years of moving here is next level. I have to go back and listen to it constant. And then and Megan Ely, see, God, there's so many great people. Megan Ely with OFD Consulting, she's a wedding consultant, and she was on the show, and she dropped off, and she was on the show like our 6th guest. And, you know, it was really sad. Everybody had no money, no business, how do you market yourself? How do you get it? And she just kept dropping all of this free advice about how to get your company out in front of people. And just, even though she has a PR company and she charges it for it, she was still providing all of her information for free. And what happened? When people got into more money, they started hiring her.
That's amazing.
Because they knew that they used some of her advice and got into the New York Times, got onto In Parade magazine, and said, well, now I don't have time because I've got more business. I want to hire the person that was so gracious in the information that they provided. I think I rambled a little bit there. Sorry about that, guys.
No, but I mean, it's the truth. It's all about because we've done interviews. You know, it's funny. This is our 7th year, and
7 years.
7 years, and
Crazy,
we do
right?
2 hours, 3 hours a day.
Right.
But this is not the only thing we do. We do other shows, about 38 of them.
Yeah.
Not us, other people. And we ask them to be themselves.
Right.
The producers have their own show. Haley has her own show as well. And there's so much going on at one time that when we throw them on set, like what happened to her yesterday, it's not easy.
No.
But it's not meant to be easy. Because easy is easy. Hard,
Boring.
you learn from.
Easy's boring.
I was watching the thing they do on HBO with the football teams, and the Lions are doing it this year. Whatever that thing is. You know what I'm talking about, the football?
What, 30 for 30?
No, it's a football show that they have every year, and every year they pick a different team. And they were talking about how horrible the Lions have been. And the guys that were drafted last year, #1 on that team, are tired of losing. There's no self-respect. And they started to cry when they ended practice. The coach started to cry because it means so much to them to have everybody in that locker room be successful. I'm not even a Lions fan, and I'm rooting for them. You know, because it's just about getting to that next level because you actually believe in yourself.
Right.
And you're going to spread that whole momentum on. And I look at these shows, and I sit home, and I look at some of the things. They have a game in here. They got a sports show in here. They got the girls talking about what they want to talk about. And I sit back, and I say to myself, I got to do this TV network.
Right.
Because I need the world to see just what they're missing. Because a lot of people don't believe what we do is what we do. What's the matter? And I'm listening to your stories. You know, when I came to Florida, I didn't have a plan.
Right.
And when I hit Florida, I had to go either West Coast or East Coast, right?
Right.
And I picked the wrong coast. I went to the other side. And I picked the wrong coast. And I decided, okay, what am I going to do? And I sat in the chair and says, why did I come down here? Why am I here?
Right.
But something told me head to Florida. That was 16 years ago, and I'm still here.
Life pushes you.
I was doing great in New York. If I tell you what I was doing in New York, you would say, why did you leave? I don't know, but it's the same story. I needed a change. I needed to get out of New York, not because I don't love it. I love New York, I love the sports teams, but I needed a change.
Yeah.
The environment for you is change, but there's inward change and there's outward change, and at the end of the day, you gotta balance all of that. And that's going to be the challenge. So It's going to be fun.
Well, I don't take yourself too seriously. Oh my God. I mean, can you imagine looking back at all the crap that you saw? Oh, this is the end of my life. It's the worst thing ever. And then 3 years later, you're like, what the hell was that? I had no idea why I was so upset about that.
I laugh.
When we moved here,
Yeah.
we got thrown out of our other studio.
Yeah.
We got 2 weeks notice and they kicked us out. And it was October. We had to be up by November 1st.
We were gypsies for 2 weeks.
We literally came from a room, probably the size of your podcast room.
Right.
And we had nowhere to go. And we found this studio, we couldn't afford it, and we left.
Yeah.
We came back, we looked around, we go, we can't afford it, so what are we going to do with this? And we left. We got ready to sign another lease, as is, lights off, everything. And our attorney the day before says, you can't sign this lease. You have no idea what you're signing. We had a day to move. It was October 30th. We had to be out November 1st.
Oh, for Nick.
So we came back here, and on our way back here, the radio station called us and said, we just sold your airtime for $150,000. So now we had no studio, no place to put our stuff, and no radio time. So we came back here, and we said, all right, God, like 3 times, I had to get hit in the head to come back here. We signed the lease. We put everything in storage while they built it, and we went on the road for 2 weeks. And we set up and broke down every day for 2 weeks.
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy that I survived it, because I don't think I almost didn't survive
no,
that
she
one.
got sick.
I got
That's it,
sick
she got
from
sick.
the stress of all of it.
Yeah, yeah.
But God had a plan. God knew something was happening, and we needed our own space 3 months later when COVID shut the world down. But we had a home for everyone to come to.
And this is amazing.
And
And by the way, the artwork and the creativity that's like, do people even know what this place looks
know
like?
those
I mean,
two pieces. Those are Allison Lefcourt up at the top. Those pop art.
Yeah.
The famous Allie Lefcourt. Those are vintage pieces, and those are actually for sale also.
I mean, it is incredible just to see all of the creativity that is popping off the walls. It's hard to not be
They're
joyful
amazing.
in here. I mean, look at this.
It's
I
a
mean,
104-year-old piano. Her grandmother. Dawn played that piano when she was a kid. And she told me I don't play, and her music with her name was in the bench. So we
Really?
called her. Yep.
But you never know, right? But on the other side of that fear and getting sick and the nervous breakdowns comes something great.
Right.
When you look back and you look at it, you just got to get through those moments.
Now we need more room. It's funny. I sat where you sat on a paint can, and this was all empty.
Yes.
And we lost our contracts because
We lost our airtime.
we lost our airtime.
Right.
So I'm sitting there, and I was at the radio station for 8 years when all this happened already. So I look at her, and I said, there's a lot of room in here. And Amy Reshevsky was the first artist we signed. And that saved our life. Amy, and then we have Max. And
Yeah.
now we have Audrey. We have a ton of different artists in here doing different things. So we gave them a show, and then Dawn and I says, you know what, let's change the energy in the building.
Yeah. It
Because
is.
originally, who sang here originally?
Ariana Grande. It still says Little Pond Family Theater. Her mom owned this.
No, it does not.
she-
Ariana Grande? This is where
her
she got
theater.
started?
This is where she
and
started.
Kendra Erica, this is where they started.
No.
So we try now for 3
you know that?
years.
You didn't know that, see?
3 years to
Yeah.
change the sign. We have mock-ups. We paid for it and lost the money.
Yep. 2 sign companies.
It doesn't happen. So now we decided, you know what? It's not meant to be.
Nope.
Just leave it alone.
It's not.
The
I don't
energy,
care
the
what it is
spirits
now.
want it to stay what it is, and then it stays
I
what it
put
is.
flags out there so people could find us. We did the thing on the door so people could find us. And we said, just look for the Little Palmatina, and this is where we are. And we never bothered. Now I don't want to change it.
No.
Why change it?
No, why? I love it. I mean, and that was one of the things. As soon as you open the door, you go, wow. Wow. I mean, you don't know where to look first. And you know, it's an intimate space, but you don't know where to look first because there's just some, I mean, the prism piece out front, the lighted
The
prism
light,
piece.
Mark Dane, that's a beautiful piece.
That was a gift. Everybody wants to
Really?
buy it, but I will not sell it. That was a gift
It's
given to us by that artist.
beautiful.
He
Right.
sold
Amazing.
16 of those in here at
Really?
one time to a condominium in South Beach.
Yep, he met with the decorator, and she said, I've got a new gig. I got 16 models I'm putting in. And he put them all in there. That's all you need is that one right pair of eyes, right?
You only need one yes. You
That's
know?
exactly it.
And that's the other thing, that when you're going out on your own, don't be afraid of the nose. Yeah.
Well, how are you not afraid of the nose? We talked about that during commercial break. You
Yeah.
said sometimes the nose make you work harder.
They do.
How do you stay within that mentality instead of the nose bringing you down?
Well, because somebody's going to say yes. I mean, there are 7 billion people on this planet, for goodness sake. Somebody's going to say yes. I mean, it's just about finding the right person, and sometimes it takes a time. You know, I think that I just think that people will gravitate towards each other at the appropriate time, and so maybe you're asking the question, but just not at the right time, or maybe you're asking the question to the wrong people at the right time. You know, there's a million reasons that people say no. Maybe they had a bad day that morning and they had a flat tire, and somebody cut them off, and their dog is, doing their dirty business in the house or something, and they just want to tell somebody no for no reason. I mean, it happens. People are human beings. And so I don't take it personally, because it's not personal many times. It's either business or it's at the wrong time.
You ever write a book?
Huh?
Ever write a book?
I'm barely literate.
I doubt that. You sound like this one. He wrote 9 pages.
7.
7 pages.
That was done.
And I'm married to an English teacher, so that makes a lot of sense.
That'd be tough.
Yeah.
What grade?
Huh?
What year? English
Well,
teacher?
he originally was middle school, and he and then got a job over the gifted portion of Broward County Schools, and then he just accepted a job as the Director of Education for the Broward Center for Performing Arts.
Nice.
And so he just took that over. Oh, did you? I mean, see, small world. But and now he's been in that position 4 weeks. Yeah, so now he's the Director of Education for the Broward Center for Performing Arts. So it's a big job and a lot of hours. But he started the School of Film and Television in New York, and so he did the same thing. He was like 32. And it was a Christmas party, and everybody was asking him for raises and what have you, and like, where's our bonus? And he was just tired of the rat race, and he said, I'm leaving to go buy a pair of cigarettes, because this was back then, so don't smoke. And he got in his car and he drove to Key West, and then called in his resignation.
Wow.
From New York, and started a whole new life in Key West. Lived on a boat for like the first year, was bartending at not Joe's Crab Shack, one of the Sloppy Joe's, or one of those big tourist places down there, and just got out of the whole corporate business for a couple of years, and then his passion found him again. At some point he decided that he wanted to go back to teaching kids, got into Broward schools, teaching middle school, and then if he hadn't done all of those things, if he hadn't left and driven down to Key West and started a whole new life, he wouldn't be where he is at this moment. His choices would have taken him to someplace different, and he might not be as happy. I mean, he loves his new job. He loves it. It's a lot of work, but he loves his new job.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Where life brings you.
Oh.
Look where life brought you.
Still on the journey.
Still on that journey.
I'm still on the journey. I ain't done yet.
I don't think everybody. Does anybody finish the journey ever?
No.
Like, why would you? Right?
But some people just don't understand why you do what you do, because there's no reason. Everybody's looking for that why. I says, well, you look for the why. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I'm the type of person that if I see it or I feel it, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Music here on Thursday nights. Why? Because they're going to sing. Why? Because we're going to do it. There's no reason. Just do it. Watch what happens. I get more people talking about that one show than anything else, because it's different.
Stop being an 8-year-old. Stop asking me why.
Just got to do.
Just got to do it.
Wow. Keith, it has been a pleasure to have you join us.
Oh, thank
my
you very
gosh,
much.
so much fun. We started with wedding planning, and we had a whole lot of fun.
I'm so sorry, and I hope I didn't bore too many people out there, or we didn't get too lovey-dovey about life. And
No, you got more people wanting to get married.
Oh, good.
Get married, find love, and find hope. And Haley, we love you. I really can't think of anything else to say. You're amazing. We love you. You always have a home with us. And we can't thank you enough for all that you do, inside and out, all of it. So more to come. We're just a phone call away. To our crew, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And to New York, WGHT, thank you for putting up with our
craziness.
Florida craziness.
Yes.
Have a great day, everyone. Stay tuned. We've got the Spiritual Mystic Alchemist coming to you at 3 o'clock. And we've got Stress Less and Decompress with Katie. That's coming today at 4. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.